Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division with various wins. Before we have a closer look at all the content here in this video, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Doing those three things doesn't cost you a dime and it helps the channel immensely. For those of you that do want to invest more in your game and become a better player quicker, then you can scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link that is in the description down below. Patreon.com/GolfClashTommy. And for those that are looking for more free content as well, our website GolfClashTommy.com is the place where you can find loads and loads on loads of free content to learn from. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get to the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also a ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number one. For the drive here, now the goal for us here is to get the ball as far down the right side possible. And the reason we want to do that is due to the fact that we do want to go for a rough bump on the second shot, but more about that a little bit later. 4 topspin and 3 right spin. If I do have a crosswind or a tailwind, I would recommend to play with the quarterback. Otherwise, I would go with an apocalypse because I would like to have a little bit more power. So we're looking to start at max here with the quarterback, 4 topspin, 3 right spin adjustment, max plus 10, and then we're going to apply full curl to the right. Even though the trees are there, they aren't scary as we're playing just above it. But obviously, I mean, you know, if you feel scared about that, then move more right and use less curl. But we do want to get the ball up there to the right to around 320 to 330 yards. Now for the second shot with a new pin location or the new hole location, it's positioned more left and also like, what can we call it, shorter on the green than before. So I'm going to use a rough bump that is more left, which in my opinion is more consistent than the rough bump that is more right. It's also wider, which means that we do have more room for error. 3.5 backspin, a little bit of left spin, and this is when I do have a tailwind here, because the tailwind will extend the extend the flight time between the first and the second bounce, and if I'm aiming at the hole I will miss left, so therefore I need to aim short and a little bit of right, otherwise we won't be getting the ball to curve down as we would like and we would miss our albatross. Bounce into the rough just nicely and it curves down and we're getting an albatross here on hole number 1. 10% elevation, true distance number, depending on where you are in your club range. You can play with other balls than Kingmaker, but I'm using a Kingmaker here to reduce the wind as much as I can for the second shot. For hole number 2, it's going to be the same process here for me as I would be playing on hole number 1, meaning if I do have a crosswind or a tailwind, I will play with a quarterback. If I do have a headwind, I can choose to go up to the rock if it's not a high wind strength and a direct headwind, then I will have to go with the Thor's Hammer or with Apocalypse instead. But when we're playing here to the left, accuracy is super important, because if we do hit a great ball, we don't want that to be the effect of rolling ourselves into the rough or into the sand. Max plus 10, using 2 right spin and then whatever top spin they get to have the ball guideline as per the video, which is somewhere around 2 to 3 bars. Now, second shot is going to be very similar to what we have had before, even with the older hole location. It's more, however, though, it's more located right than it was before. But as we're having a side spin 3 ball, we can definitely get around the bunker in a very nice way. And I truly like this spot a little bit better than before because it looks more flat and it looks less bumpy. This shot here, I would play from max line, I would play max plus 20, but as we're not in max line, I do make a little mistake to not reduce my adjustment in the way that I should, and I will in this instance miss just left. I need just 0.1 less and would have gotten the drop. So, but it's the sniper here, and obviously there is value to reduce the wind as much as possible by using a Kingmaker. But for those that have already calculated that out, you don't have to play with a Kingmaker. You can use a Titan instead, and to a stretch you can use a Katana also. Very close for a drop. Hole number 2 is definitely a tough one, regardless if we have this new hole location or if we have the old hole location. Hole number 3, I think this is, if not the, yeah, I would say this together with hole number 1 is a new hole location that I'm actually thinking is easier than before. Because now, look at this funnel here. See, I'm wiggling left and right and the ball guideline is just going to be stuck. And the important part here to know is that if you do have a tailwind, you're going to have to settle for a P1 or a P2 ball, or having a ball with a lot of wind resistance together with that. So in a crosswind or in a headwind, this is most definitely going to be a perfect way of playing with a Kingmaker or a Katana. Just 3 left spin, a little bit of top spin to have the ball guideline to go just on top of the pin. And even though the ball guideline shows like this is gonna come in massively hot, but that's only because it's just sloping downhill. It's not mean that it doesn't mean that you're gonna come in too hot. It's just a way to fool you, it almost feels like. But getting into that funnel, thinking about really 3 types of way here. If you do have a flat crosswind, ball guideline to be through the hole, not above, not under. So if you do have a tailwind, just underneath the hole to compensate for the extended ball guideline. And if you do have a headwind, then just above the hole to compensate for the compressed ball guideline. And I definitely believe that this is going to be an absolute money maker when it comes to getting a drop on a par 3. For hole number 4, after 6 times I kind of gave up getting the same wind every single time. I wanted to have a crosswind or a tailwind so we could really just keep it with a power 3 ball and not have to force this drive to be this aggressive. But I do want to at least display an attack for an eagle on this very tough par 4. Start with a power 5 ball in headwind. Use 6 topspin or more if you can. I would definitely recommend to use 7 or 8 bars if you do have that much. But I'm trying to keep this in a way that even those of you with low level Apocalypse can replicate the shot. I'm using a Berserker ball. Obviously a ball with more wind resistance will be better, as you don't need to go with as much overpower there either. So max plus 10, max overpower, try to hit perfect. Now second shot, we're going for a rough bomb. Look to where the pin stands now compared to what it was before. We have literally no room here to let the ball roll as much as we did before. There isn't really any funnels to work with as we did before either. So I'm using a 3.5 bar backspin here in direct headwind, having the ball guideline to go through the hole plenty with the bullseye just by the edge of the rough line. This to compensate for the compressed ball guideline that we are going to have when it comes to playing in headwind. Obviously crosswind I have the ball guideline to hold. In tailwind I leave the ball guideline slightly short, so the extended ball guideline won't be an issue. 10% elevation, true distance number, and here is what I'm adjusting. I'm adjusting max plus 10 for this particular shot. Bounces into rough, and you can notice that I'm slightly over adjusting because plus 30, or like where I'm starting my adjustment from, is not really equivalent to max plus 10 adjustments. I need maybe like a 90% slider or something like that. At least it comes in. We do have a safe birdie. This is, regardless if you do have a tailwind, crosswind or headwind of tee, this is going to be a very difficult par 4 to consistently get an eagle at. Take your game to the next level with our ultimate tournament text guide for expert and or master division. For the summer major, we are going to play Oasis 2. So Oasis with the new pins, and that's going to be super exciting as we have not had those pins many times before. I would say that these are the top pins compared to the regular pins of the Oasis, so we're definitely in for a treat, and it's definitely gonna be a major that will be on the tougher side. For those of you that are looking to improve your game, getting some more clan points to your clan, getting some more cards to yourself, some balls to yourself in the prize chest, and most importantly,
don't feel that you have to spend the whole week to be competitive. Join our guide community and join the largest, especially join the largest guide community there is on the market. Get yourself the information, the instructions, the things you need to become a better player, and hopefully that's going to reward you with a good spot in the weekend round of the summer major. So scan the QR code here on the screen, or you use the link patreon.com/goldclashtommy that you can find in the description down below, and you sign up today.
Hole number 5, they have made not impossible, because you can still attack the pin, but you're gonna have to play either an aggressive rough bump or play with a club that gives you a lot of backspin boost. Or you can obviously bounce on the fairway on the right and curl the ball up towards the pin and just forfeit the hole-in-one possibility. But here I'm playing with the Guardian, and the reason I'm playing with the Guardian here specifically is due to its more power. And also obviously for the backspin, but Sniper 10 has the backspin that I'm looking for, as I'm playing with 6.2 backspin. Aiming with the yellow ring by the edge of the rough line, ball guideline to point just slightly right of hole, just to compensate for the slightly extended ball guideline that we are going to have. I'm adjusting max plus 10 is what I'm doing with my Guardian, and you can see here that we are bouncing into the rough, and it rolls down and it gets that ball to drop dead center from hole-in-one. Once again, this hole has gone from being actually a pretty decent hole-in-one chance to become much more difficult with a new hole location. It's almost like they're trying to say, alright, you're gonna take either a massive risk or you're going to just take your birdie and be done with it. Hole number 6 is always going to be a very tough par 5 to get anything else than an eagle on, but I have a very interesting approach with the new hole location that I'm going to be very pleased to show you all. 6 topspin, 1 left spin, and the reason I'm using 6 topspin is to adapt even for lower level Apocalypse, so you don't have to think that, oh, I need to have an Apocalypse level 7 to play this shot. Max plus 10, and we're aiming for a double bounce over the rough patch, and we are going to end up nicely on the fairway. This is an old way of playing this hole, which has always worked. It's a very nice and consistent way, and as we're doing that double bounce, it slows down the ball and there is no risk of rolling into rough there at the top, or into the bunker for that matter. Now, Sniper, we're gonna use max topspin and 3 right spin here. You can see that the new hole location is positioned more right on the green, so we can't really use the same type of roll down as we've had before, so I'm liking to go more straight at it. And you can either just go more left and bounce on the fairway, or you can actually go for a little bit more aggressive double bounce rough bump, which is honestly a very nice way of attacking this hole. However though, bad grades will be a problem, so you're going to have to focus and you're gonna have to hit I would say that you're gonna have to hit perfect or a great right based on where my ball is landing. Those gonna be fine, but a great left will most likely miss the rough, and then you might have a problem even getting the eagle. But I would say that I do think that this type of play is definitely a play that increases the chance for an albatross on an already tough par 5. See, we bounce into the rough, roll down onto the green, and we're getting that one almost dead center for a nice albatross. 20% elevation, true club distance number, and as we're playing with such a narrow spot, it is very important that you are judging your club distance correctly. But once again, if you don't feel comfortable with that aggressive approach, use the standard approach, which is moving more left and use more right, use all the right spin and bounce the ball up towards the green by using the fairway. Hole number 7, I honestly don't know what to say. Can you do a par 3 with more glitches or bumps than what they have here? I don't think so. This is probably my least favorite par 3 in the whole game, even though we do have spots here from the rough that can give you some sort of consistency if you are very spot on, but there are so many glitches here from the rough or bouncing on the fairway with all the bumps that it's gonna be just if you drop the hole in one, it's a massive bonus. Here I'm adjusting max plus 10, I'm pulling back 1 ring after that. and then trying to go for the rough bump. I will be missing right, but I spent unfortunately too much time because I got pissed off here because couldn't really find anything consistent, and in the end we got an edge burner here to show you, as the rough bump is a possibility. You can use the fairway to bounce over towards the green, but then you do have the bumpy road there to bounce over towards the pin as well. It's up to you to decide which way you want to go. And what you feel will give you the best possible chance to lock in the birdie, but also give yourself an outside chance for an hole-in-one. On hole number 8, I will favor the right side here now every single time, and I will explain why in a bit. Here I'm starting with 7 topspin, 3 right spin. I would recommend to play with the big topper if you don't have the Apocalypse or the Thor's Hammer that can offer you 7 bars of topspin. And it's a topspin that I'm looking for here to be able to clear the rough with from our first to second bounce. Max plus 10 is the adjustment, and here we are centering the ball and trying to hit perfect. So why am I not favoring the right side? Because that would have been much easier. It's because now with the new hole location, they have put it into a place where the rough bump is extremely glitchy. And that means that I'm going to have to use backspin and aim at the green, and then it's not going to be consistent at all, because that's glitchy too. So that's why I'm favoring the right hand side to go for a rough bump from here, because this is not going to be a glitchy place if you are finding the correct position. You can obviously have glitches from here too, and that we know by experience. So it's all about finding what spins that work from this area. And you can see here now that I'm looking to have a consistent way of attacking the pin. That's why I'm using different type of spins. And in the end, I'm settling for, as you can see here, 1 left spin and 6.7 topspin, and now finding a good spot with the yellow rain by the rough line. If you do not have this amount of topspin, which you don't have with the Thorn or the Hornet, meaning if you don't have the Falcon, then play with the Runner. The Runner gives you a lot of topspin, and it's definitely a good use in a situation like this. Minus 5% elevation, true club distance is what I'm looking for. Bouncing into the rough, rolls up towards the green, getting myself an eagle on now a much tougher par 4 than it was before. Because with the new hole location here, they have definitely made hole 8 boring, in my opinion, because all of the glitches there by green becomes just a mess, and it becomes a situation where they are somewhat removing certain spots for us to actually play at if we're not just going to look for a simple birdie. Hole number 9, the drive is going to be just as we are used for it to be, which is a 3 right spin. I'm using 6 top spin to adapt to lower level Apocalypse clubs. We don't play close to max line, so we're actually going to change that into the info box. We're going to go with this one to be medium distance instead of max club. Mid plus 10, I'm using half a ball of right curl, and you can see that with my position, the trick is to have the second bounce to be aimed into the center of the rough between the bunker and the fairway line. And the reason for that is that if we would miss the rough with our second bounce and bounce on the fairway, we will most likely roll into the rough at the top, or if we aim too short, we go into the bunker. And both of those things will, if being unlucky, make you not have the chance to go for the eagle. Because the eagle is the main thing to get here. You can go for a rough bump in between the trees, but that's risky because the trees are definitely in the way. And it's also going to be a distance problem if you don't have the drive far right enough and having headwind on the approach. So I'm choosing to play the more safer, conservative way, going on the right hand side. Max plus 10, I'm using in this case 3/4 of a ball left curl, using all left spin and some backspin too. And obviously dropping this shot from this range is going to be loads of luck. And you can also see that the pin stands now on the top left corner and has been having a pretty drastic movement from where it stand before. So this hole here has become even tougher, in my opinion, to get an albatross on. Not to say that it was easy before, it was still really tough. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for Pro and Expert. division here with various wins. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to hit the thumbs up button before you leave. Scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy that is in the description down below. That will take you to our premium guides where you can subscribe and start improving your game today. Thank you once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.